Okay. Okay, so what time we got? 101. We got about, wow, we got 35 people on right now. A lot of people up there. Let me make sure I got my um, talking points up here. So I'm going to go through all of my talking points that I've got on my agenda first, and then I'll let everybody. I'll open up the floor for everybody. So first of all, for those of you that don't know, I'm Master Orlando Giovanni. Just announced recently as the new Kingdom Rapier Marshal. Um, this will be my 5th Kingdom level office that I've had. So this isn't my first time at the rodeo. I was our first Kingdom Spear Marshal or Rapier Spear Marshal, been Kingdom C&T Marshal before, Kingdom Youth Rapier Marshal, and I've also been a Deputy ARM. I've been Deputy Exchequer as well in the past. So had a couple of Kingdom level things. Um, First of all, now that I've got the introduction out of the way, I want to say thank you very much to Master Darian for all of your service to the Ansteorra and Rapier community. We really all appreciate it. And I know I've got some big shoes to fill, like both conceptually and literally, right? Um, the so a couple of things that I wanted to go over. I'm going to jump right into it here. Society rule transition. Many of you may or may not understand that.
We come through here. Thanks.
Okay. Hey, Jacques, mute yourself. Thank you. Okay. Many of you may or may not know that in September 22nd specifically, the new Society Rapier handbook goes into effect. And that includes all C&T and all of the new rules that are out there. They have published the new rules on the Society website. I'm going to go ahead and publish more information about the changes and updates. I've only recently gotten a chance to start going through them. There are a few things in there that are going to change. They've gotten rid of the rules about electrical tape, for instance. They are going through and better defining incidents. For those of you familiar with the incidents marshal position that was introduced a few years ago at Golf Wars, a lot of the new incidents things that they're doing at society level have been directly drawn from what we introduced a couple of years at Golf Wars with myself and the K's. And we'll also they're also going to be introducing over the next couple of months. This won't be in this initial release, but probably by the end of the year, a society marshalate structure. And what that means is that's going to be the kingdom level marshalate structure will be defined in the society handbooks. So they're going to bring all of that together into a single sort of recommended society marshalate structure, all the way from your local branch marshals, field marshals, authorizing marshals, warranted marshals versus non-warranted marshals, all of that, all the way up to the society level. So we'll have one, for the society, we'll have one marshalate structure. Right now, they're working with all of the kingdoms to work that out. And it will probably be slightly different for each of the disciplines, because each of the disciplines has slightly different requirements. So there may be a slightly different marshalate structure for Rapier and C&T than there is for chivalric or than there is for the missile community. Missile community is definitely going to be much different than both chivalric and rapier combat and CMT. And equestrian is going to be different. So they're working on that right now, and they're getting feedback from all of the kingdoms about how their different martial structures work and what works for them. The kingdoms will still be responsible for coming up with the authorization procedures. So the kingdoms will still own the authorization procedures. There will just be a single society level sort of martial art structure. So those are some of the big things I wanted to go over on the rules transition. Like I said, as we move towards September and I get more information, I will make sure to get that out to everybody. The next thing I wanted to put out there were talked about reporting and incidents. Actually, I covered a lot of this stuff on there. Okay, so with the new rules coming out, one of the things that I plan to put together is a rules committee. So with the new rules coming out and trying to figure out how we're going to implement them at the kingdom level, I've already talked to Sir Absalon. Hi, Absalon. I think you're on there somewhere.
Yep, I'm here.
We just had a long discussion about this, and he's working very closely with society and has been for a while now to figure out what we need to do at the kingdom level. So there's going to be a new kingdom level martial art manual of some sort that will be coming out. The specifics on it are not all out there, but the main takeaway is that over the next few months, we'll be coming out with a new kingdom martial art manual or martial art manuals that better interleave with the new society rules and the new requirements for incidents reporting and for martial art structure. So that's something that we're looking at. And so along with that, one of the things that I'm going to do with the Rapier department, because he's already talked to the various deputies of each of the disciplines, and we're going to be responsible for coming up with our own portion of the rules, is that I'm putting together a rules committee. And so I've already got a few people that have reached out to me about it. I'm looking at about 10 people, and I would like a good mix from all over the kingdom, from north to south. I don't want clusters of people in any one region. I want a mix from all of the different regions, and also people from different with different backgrounds and varying backgrounds in the Rapier community. So what I'm asking right now, I don't have access to the email account yet, but after this, if you think that you're interested in being a member of that committee, send me an email. It's rapier@kingdom.ansteorra.org. And once I get access to the emails, I can start going through to the email account. I can start going through them, and just include some background information about you. I mean, many of you all already know very well, but some background information and sort of why you think that you would be a good fit on the committee. Like I said, there's only 10 people, and we're trying to get a mix from around the kingdom. So just sending an email and requesting is no guarantee that you're going to be on that committee. Sure, I can put that email here. But if you don't know the Kingdom Rapier Marshal email address already, maybe you're not a good fit for the office, right? That's a joke, by the way.
Rude. I'm just kidding.
Did I spell that right? Yeah, I think I got that right. So so it's in the chat now for everybody that needs to see it. So rules committee, and the rules committee is going to help us navigate these new requirements that we've got. And I'm hoping it'll be a long-term organization that will carry over through multiple KRMs to help us keep our rule set as fun and safe as possible for everybody. So talking about fun and safe, another thing that's going to be introduced with the incidents, the new incidents rules that are coming out, and this is going to be a big part of our discussion, is how we're going to implement this at the society level. They're in the process of putting together a master incidents database that's based heavily on what Nikkei's and I came up with that first year with the Rapier incidents marshal. And so that society level database is probably going to be out closer to the end of the year, though. Oh, good one. Is that Senna? Yeah, good one. Thank you. Love you. But with the incidents marshal, with the incidents structure, what I would like to do is also introduce a new deputy position for incidents marshal for Rapier. And so if there's anyone also interested in that position, once again, send an email address or send an email to the Kingdom email address. It will just be a deputy position and then I'm going to look through those and we're going to figure out who would be the best fit for that job. Okay. So the next thing is going to be, we'll also be looking at, look at my notes here. Talk about incidents, marshal position. Okay, CNC. So I've also talked with our Earl Marshal about this as well. Years ago, we started with a CNT deputy, and then they combined all the rules, and we got rid of our CNT deputy. And then at some point, we reintroduced a CNT deputy. But it's a non-reporting system, or it's a non-reporting job. And frankly, you know, as an office, it's not really that important right now, since we have CNT is all under one umbrella. And so right now we're going to be removing the CNT deputy position. But we will have CNT positions on the rules committee, which I think is a more important place to talk about. And that way you don't have the burden of an office, when really what you want to do is you want to be able to be the cheerleader and also a voice for the CNT community without the burden of an office and reporting and that sort of thing. So we're gonna remove the CNT position. Already all steel weapon reporting goes through the local marshals on up the regional chain anyway. So there's no reason to have a separate office for that. So right now our current Kingdom CNT deputy is Master Floki. Is he on? There are a lot of people on here. No, I don't think he's on, but you know, I just want to put out there, thank you very much for the hard work that you've done and the service to the Rapier community. So, and we'll look at seeing if he wants to take a position on the rules committee moving forward. Okay. Okay, so I'm now just getting up to speed on the office. So I don't have the lists of who all of our marshals are and who all of our authorizing marshals are. But I do understand that there are concerns that we don't have enough authorizing marshals in multiple disciplines around the kingdom. So one of the first things that I'd like to do is start looking at what our authorizing marshal distribution is, and so that we can start getting more authorizing marshals out there in all of our disciplines. That's CNT, two-handers, rapier, spear, and rapier. And the because there are a couple of people have already approached me about that. So just suffices to say, as I get access to more of the data that we require for this, there will be more of a focus on our authorizing marshal distribution. One thing I didn't mention was on the rules committee. My plan is for us to meet monthly online, virtually. So we will have virtual monthly meetings. Everybody will be invited, but we'll have just the rules committee will work on that. I'd also like to work with our regionals to maybe set up a quarterly meeting or even a monthly meeting with all of the regionals as kind of an open office hours to sort of see where they are. I don't think we need a kingdom-wide open office hours. I think each region should consider having their own open office hours with their folks. But I would like to meet with all of the regionals on a semi-frequent basis. So I'll be touching bases with you guys to see what you guys think about the distribution of that. And then finally, and I think that is all I've got right now for announcements that I wanted to put out. Like I said, as I get more information on where the office is currently and our current data access, I'll have more for everybody. So I'm going to go and open up the floor. Raise your hands if anybody has anything that they want to bring up for the Rapier Marshal. Christoph, I think you're our first one there. Can we hear you, or was that just a mistake? I guess that was just a mistake. Okay. Looks like Osa, you've got your hand up.
Yes. One of the big questions I've had going forward with the separate rapier and cut and thrust rulebooks is, are we also looking at separating out the rapier versus cut and thrust authorization for like the marshalet? Like, will there now be a separate authorization to be a cut and thrust marshal?
That is a good question. So I am going to put that right now on the agenda for the first rules committee meeting. But I don't have a personal opinion on it right off the top of my head. Do you have any thoughts, or personal thoughts on it that you were thinking that why you might have brought this up?
Personally, I do think that they should be separate authorizations, because it obviously, yes, to authorize for cut and thrust, you need to know the rules. And so the previous standard of having them both under, like, if you have a rapier marshalet, like, authorization and then have the cut and thrust authorization, that made sense. But if we are now separating out the rules, it is unfair to the marshal to expect them to have both books entirely memorized, essentially. I think having them separate to allow more focus on, like, from the marshalet side makes sense and takes the burden off of the marshal a little bit more.
Yeah, I kind of feel like there's several reasons to have a separate marshal for something. I think and there's reasons to have a single marshal. If if something shows up, if something can show up on the same field at the same time, i.e., rapier, spear, and rapier, then there should be a single marshal for that. Does that make sense? If something can't necessarily show up on the same field at the same time, then I don't think there's a requirement to have a single marshal position for it. Doesn't necessarily mean that you should have multiple marshal positions, but I think the times when it's a good idea to have a single marshal for multiple things is when those things can show up on the same field. Like the rapier spear has a separate authorization from rapier, but we only have a single marshal position for rapier that covers both of those. Now, C&T may be a different story, right? Because they don't show up on the same field together. And there are special concerns with C&T versus rapier. Now, one thing to think about too, though, is there are tournaments where people will compete in the same tournament in rapier, using rapier and using cut and thrust. If their opponent is authorized, yada, 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 that happens pretty frequently. In those cases, if we were to require separate marshals for each of those, then we would no longer be able to reuse our rapier marshals to marshal a tournament that has mixed disciplines in it. So those are the kind of things I think we'll have to think about before making a final decision on that. So I'm going to add that to the rules meeting agenda to see what we think on that. But I appreciate you bringing that up. Did you have any other insights on that, Osa?
In the past, we actually have had to get a marshal who's authorized in C&T to marshal when we mix cut and thrust. Because typically, those cases are me in a rapier tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Okay, let's look at our hands. Okay, I think we've got Sina next.
Hi, this is actually Red.
Oh, hey, okay, that is Red. How's it going, Red?
Yep, we're sharing a computer because mine is kind of messed up right now. Kind of a follow-up to OSA's in terms of the designation of C&T marshals. How are we identifying that? I have gone to other kingdoms and they always ask, oh, well, are you a marshal for this? And I have to explain, we don't actually have that separate in our system. But beyond that, we're looking at people who are not fighters being C&T marshals, that it should be a thing that we should be able to do, but there's no way to show, yes, they are authorized to do this. They have the knowledge, they understand it.
Yeah, so it would definitely resolve those kinds of problems at a kingdom level if we separated the authorizations. And also, society's also working on some methods for organizing the cross kingdom authorizations a little bit better as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I've just recently authorized someone, they specifically wanted to do C&T, and I'm basically saying, you really need to be a rapier marshal as well, and do that. It's not that much more work, but then getting non-fighters to be, we have non-fencers who are doing rapier marshaling. It's just, again, the C&T, the spear, there really shouldn't be an issue with why the non-fighters can't do that. It's really an issue of being able to show that in AMP, I think, more than anything else.
Yep. Yeah, well, and I mean, some kingdoms have a separate authorization for every weapon style. So they have a single sword authorization, PACE authorization, sword and dagger authorization. When I lived in Meridies, we had 10 different authorizations on one card just for Rapier. Okay. Anything else, Red?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. Just wanted to touch on that, which again is much an AMP question as an actual marshaling question.
Yeah, and we're recording this, so after this, I'll be grabbing that recording and extracting as much detail as possible. So, okay.
Before you move on, though, I did want to mention to Red, there is another AMP meeting at 3 for waivers and gatherings. They also may be able to answer your question there.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. I don't know who this is. Andrew Kilpatrick? Probably somebody I know.
Actually, relatively new to y'all's group. I'm trying to become a marshal, or working on it. Anyways, I'm from the Hell's Gate area, known to Sir Mogwin. Anyways, though, question is have we thought about in the community of putting together classes for future marshals?
So, so most of the marshalate training right now happens at the local branch level, and then your local branch marshal will assist you in finding an authorizing marshal, and then the authorization portion will be administered by the authorizing marshal. So that's mostly how we do it right now. Now, taking a class, I've given lots of martial classes before at various collegiums or just at events or that sort of thing. So your local marshals, your regional marshals, they should be arranging those opportunities for marshaling classes. Who is your local branch marshal? You said Mogwin. Is he the Hell's Gate marshal, or who's the local Rapier
Actually,
marshal?
Sigurd is the Rapier marshal for Hell's Gate currently.
Who is?
But, Sigurd Robinson is currently the Rapier marshal.
Okay.
But we'll take care of local instruction, but it would be good to have some kingdom level expectations of what we want someone to know.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt to have some better guidelines there.
Yeah, and so that's the next thing I was going to bring up. I think more than just a class, I think we need actual any kind of guidelines, right? Because we really don't have much of anything right now. And so one of the things on my list of goals for the rules committee is to come up with better authorization procedures. And we're going to take a look at the new society rules that are coming down. But we need to outline authorization procedures and have some sort of, I think we may end up having some sort of written test along with a checklist for the local authorization, and then we can use that to produce a class. Once again, I would like to see the regionals putting together these classes for their folks, because they'll be able to get to events or even local practices or those sorts of things in a way that a single person for both Oklahoma and Texas, some of the biggest states in the country, cannot possibly take care of by themselves. So improving the authorization expectations for sure, to make it easier for our regionals to get out there and give these classes and to get people authorized. Awesome. That was a good one, Andrew. Thank you. Did you have anything else?
No, it was more just a because it seems to be out there just in general in when it comes to becoming a marshal in general. There seems to be a lot of question as to what the standard is, and
Yeah.
as we're moving towards this worldwide standard,
Has
hey,
anyone
we're already approaching the subject. Why don't we solve the problem across the board?
has anybody introduced you to the Rapier Marshals Handbook yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I've actually been playing since '94, so yeah.
Oh,
Very
okay.
familiar.
Yeah. The biggest thing that we're missing kingdom level is definitely an authorization procedure. And that's been a problem, I think, for a while, and we're definitely gonna get that fixed on my watch. Okay, I think we've got Wilhelm next.
Yeah, what I was wondering about was, I like the idea of doing an authorization procedure, and I had someone ask me about, becoming a Rapier Marshal, and then I found out how difficult it is to find the information. Can we get the Rapier rules put in a place where it's easy for newcomers to find?
Yeah, I agree too. I'm trying to eat my lunch too at the same time. Excuse me. One of the things on my list is to make the Rapier, the Ansteorra and Rapier website much more useful and much easier to find information. So that's definitely one of the things on my list.
And if I can chime in on this one, that's one of the purposes of what society is doing. So our kingdom would have a link to Society Wiki, and the Society Marshalate Wiki would have all of the requirements for Rapier for our kingdom in one link, and it would be a combination of all of Ansteorra's rules plus all of society rules all in one document.
Yes, because right now it's several documents to find all of the information.
So what you're saying is it would be an individualized kingdom or principality, a kingdom rule link.
Yes. If you just wanted to go through society and skip Ansteorra's webpage and you went straight to society's webpage, you would click on the Earl Marshals link. That would take you to the Marshalate documents, and then you would click on which kingdom you wanted to see. And once you clicked on Ansteorra's page, Ansteorra's Rapier rules on the society wiki page would be a combination of all of society and our kingdom rules all in one document, making it much easier to reference.
Okay, thank you.
Good deal. Okay. Thank you, Wilhelm. Anything else?
One last, I'm sorry, I didn't raise my hand, but will those be printable, like PDF?
Yes, they have printable PDF versions available, but you got to keep in mind that these are also living documents. So if you access it in January and then February something changes going through the BOD and BOD approves it and you reaccess it in March, that living document will be updated, and it's going to be the same on the kingdom level. Once everything is published, if we make a change at the kingdom level, then it'll be my job to get in there and update the society wiki so that the latest greatest is available online. So if you do a PDF version, before you start handing it out, double check and make sure it's the latest greatest and most recent.
Cool. Good deal. Okay, well, let's move on to Havar, who's got their hand up. What do you got, Havar?
Real quick, I just want to know, do we have a list of who all of our regionals are? Because last I checked, Southern Regional does not have one.
Yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to get access to. That's like top on my list with like a bunch of stuff. But yeah, there's a list, and it's in AMP.
We have a couple applicants, and our new Kingdom Rapier Marshal will be tackling that once he gets access to the system and starts sorting that out.
Yeah.
Excellent. The other thing is, just for anybody in the Southern Regional, especially Brinklot, Hell's Gate area, I am an authorizing marshal. So if you need to be authorized, please let me know. We can work something out.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Moving right along. I think that's Carl next.
Yeah, hi. I can't find the rule or how to put in for an experiment anywhere. Can you maybe advise?
That's a good question for our Earl Marshal. I'm not sure who our experiments marshal is right now. Do we have one? Is that?
We do have an experiments marshal, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it is. So give me a sec. I'll pull it up and I'll put it into the chat.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll get that to you here in a second, Carl.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I think we've got Gavin is next.
Real quick, I don't know if it's been brought up or if it's in the society new rules. It was brought up in the missile meeting today about Rapier combat archery and rules that are differing from the heavy combat archery. I was working with Tovar at Gulf Wars on it. They were asking what documentation was, if there's new rule set specifically for the Rapier combat archery, because the rules do vary from the heavy side versus equipment and poundage. If that's going to be done at the society level, or if that's something, because I was going to work with Tavar and see if we could get a document set up for the kingdom specific, if not.
So there are, by the way, I'm seeing Santiago for experiment coordinator, which I'd forgotten that. That's true. Yeah, it's Master Santiago.
Hey,
you want to reach out to him.
I can jump in to help with Gavin's question. All the new Rapier combat archery rules are in detail in the new rules from society.
Yes.
I have lots of experience with that. They are in there in detail, including poundage, construction, et cetera, et cetera. It's all in there. I will say that probably a good idea to get a Rapier combat archery marshal started, because it is supposed to be a separate authorization as per kingdom, but they are in there.
Gavin, the rules are in the fencing marshal's handbook, not the combat archery one.
Okay, yeah, that's we were questioning on that where it's at, because there is kingdom level specific rules for heavy combat archery. So we're wondering if there was going to be a standalone for Rapier combat archery, because the rules do vary. Okay.
Okay. So one of the things that I'm going to, that's also on my list initially, is going to be, I'm going to put out a call for a, because I don't think we have, do we have a missile kingdom Rapier missile marshal right now? I haven't seen one.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so that's going to be one of the first things that we're going to put out applications for.
So there is a combat archery marshal.
Yes.
They just cover everything.
Rapier combat archery?
No, just combat archery marshal.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like since the rule set for and this is something we're gonna have to maybe talk. I mean, I'm probably gonna give you a call, Axelon, about this too. But I feel like what we really need is since there's the manual includes rapier combat archery, I feel like we need a deputy under the Kingdom Rapier Marshal for combat archery.
For
in order
heavy,
to-
for the heavy side, the heavy combat archery marshal doesn't fall under the Earl Marshal or the heavy side. Specifically, it falls under the missile community.
I know.
And under the current ruling is you are combat archery authorized and you are heavy authorized, you can go shoot on the heavy field. If you're combat archery authorized and rapier authorized, you can go shoot on the rapier field. There's not a separate authorization for rapier combat archery versus
Here
heavy
we
combat
all
archery.
sit with none of those guys in a meeting that we're discussing all of those things.
There will be, according to my sit downs last year with the Society, Earl Marshal, Rapier Marshal, and Combat Archery Marshal, there will be a requirement for a separate Rapier Combat Marshal Rapier Combat, Rapier Archery, archery for Rapier authorization. There will be a need for a separate one.
But will they just show up to the missile meetings? So
That
we need to,
would be between the Earl Marshal, the Missile Marshal, and you on where they fall. I would assume they fall still under wherever chivalric combat marshaling falls under.
So the way they've traditionally done it with the heavy side is the combat archery marshal focuses on the archery part. They're the ones checking the bows and the ammunition requirements. All of the everything else is for the heavy fighter or for the heavy marshals, for the shiv marshals. They're the ones doing the armor inspections. They're the ones verifying they understand the rules. The combat archery marshals stick solely to making sure the bows and ammunition meet the requirements and that the archers are shooting safely and understand that when we shoot somebody, the projectile is going to continue. That's where the archery that's what the archery marshal is focused on.
Yeah.
The assumption was it was going to happen the same way with getting into rapier melees.
Having been an authorizing marshal in like every discipline in Ansteorra.
To be combat archer, you basically have to have every authorization you can get to get onto the field with a bow.
Yeah, our traditions are from a time when combat archers did not do chivalric combat and chivalric combatants did not do combat archery. We've changed in a lot of cases. A person on that field is a person on that field that happens to be carrying fill in the blank in their hands. And so I think this is a big discussion that we have to have. I don't know that tradition is the right answer always on these things.
It seems to be kind of a developing thing because I know they've gone back and forth a lot about who's on what field and who's involved to what extent and how that translates to in the middle of a melee battle. So I know it's still developed, and then starting on the rapier and the cut and thrust side for your melees is, again, it's something new. I didn't know about it until somebody told me a couple months ago, and he was all excited, and I had no idea what he was talking about.
I think I'll give you a call about it, Absalon, and see what your thoughts.
We can tackle this one offline with the whole crew and do a group conversation on what's going to be the best path forward. Because ultimately speaking, our roles is to make sure that everybody's able to have the fun that they want to have. Our siege people are not heavy authorized. They're not authorized to go out and fight heavy, but they're out on the heavy field. But all they do is siege.
Yeah.
If you guys want my input from last year's Golf Wars, getting all that organized, please let me know. I'll gladly sit in on meeting with y'all.
Yeah,
Definitely
same here.
appreciate it, Havard.
Definitely. Okay. So we'll answer more of that as we move on. And I think getting a deputy somewhere is going to be a big win on that. First of all, getting somebody whose job is to set the standard for Rapier missile. Carl, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I'm looking at my authorization card, and I actually have authorizations, and also I am an authorizing marshal for both combat archery marshal and Rapier combat archery.
Yeah.
So there are two separate authorizations.
Same here.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, it's definitely two separate authorizations for sure. And I think it'll continue to be that way, is what I bet.
I'm cool with that.
Okay, Wilhelm, you got your hand raised again? Or maybe not.
Sorry, I'm having issues with my computer at the moment. I totally forgot what my question is, so go to the next person.
Well, there's nobody else with their hand up. Was there anybody else that had anything?
Oh, yes, I remember what it was.
Okay.
We used to do rubber band guns. Are those going to be in the missile?
We still do rubber band guns. I got killed by a lot of rubber band guns at Pensick last year.
Heck, they had the new rubber band cannon at Gulf Force.
Rubber band guns have no change. They do, in the new rule set, they are covered under the combat archery section, the missile section. There's no changes to them in the way that there's no extra authorization for a rubber band gun needed. You don't need to be missile authorized. As per the last meetings I had with Society on this, they get inspected just like any other offhand would, because you can use that as an offhand after you fired it. And there's no real way to test the pound, like truly good way to test the poundage of the rubber bands.
Well, not a good way. The thing is, like, after 3 shots, the poundage of that round has changed. Those tubes don't hold up.
Yeah, and if you switch from one gun that's an inch longer to, from an inch shorter, it's going to change it.
The poundage is the type of the size of the band or the type of material. I mean, like it's very complicated. Yeah.
Our rule at Gulf Force was, as long as there was no metal and the rubber bands were constructed properly out of surgical tubing, we let them go.
Yeah.
We had no issues with them.
So they removed the poundage requirement?
No, that's still there.
It's still there, but there's no way to accurately test that.
I've been campaigning to just remove the poundage requirement. It's dumb. You can't make a surgical tubing round that's going to hurt somebody who's armored up, and the trouble of trying to care about the poundage is just dumb. Plus it's 30 pounds. Like, the 30-pound poundage is, nobody feels that. So yeah, I'm disappointed a little bit in that. I was hoping they would just remove the poundage on it.
There is a way to measure it, but
no, there is. I've got a spreadsheet for it. Even I've got like 15 those muskets that you turned me on to built in the shop right now. Getting anybody
is a good reason for them to keep it in there, to keep somebody from overkill on it.
I think there's good reasons for. I think the mitigating factor is the fact that it requires surgical tubing, though. So I guess my point is, like, I think but I don't know, I guess you've got a point, though. I mean, somebody could probably find some like titanium surgical tubing or something. I think the poundage should at least go up to like 50 pounds or something. 30 pounds is, and it's it's difficult to get 30 pounds out of surgical tubing anyway without doing like a musket or something like that. On just a pistol length barrel, that even with a round that's like just that big a round, it barely makes 30 pounds. Okay. Yay, we got another taker. Etienne, happy birthday. You're up. Can't hear you. Etienne, are you there? The ghost of Etienne?
Etienne, you might want me to swap your mic.
Well, you pretty much can tell us what he was going to say, right, Osa?
I don't know. We're on different ends of the state.
But I mean, you've got a connection.
The psychic connection between teacher and student.
Did you want to type it in chat, Etienne? Did anybody want to guess what Etienne's trying to tell us?
He just said, never mind.
He was going to say that Havar is amazing.
That's a good guess. I think you transposed Havar for Orlando, though.
Never would I do that.
Okay. Silliness. Okay. We've got less than 10 minutes. Were there any other? Oh, okay. Now he does have a chat message up there. Hold on. I'm wondering if any progress was made on joining the CNT whole arm experiment. Is there? That's a great question for Santiago. I've got enough on my plate. I'm not going to try and guess what he's organizing experiment wise. Oh, Christoph, you raised your hand. What do you got?
Yes, sir. So I noticed there's not a separate CNT class. And you've said a couple of times, that's a great question for Santiago. When would be a decent time to be able to try and reach out so we could try to do
experiments, Marshall?
Okay.
Santiago's experiments, Marshall. This is the CNT place. We should start calling this just the steel weapons meeting.
See, that makes more sense to me because that's what I do in a group.
If we use the actual
it's just steel combat.
Yeah, we need to start referring to either steel combat or civil combat or unarmored combat. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, thank you.
The
Gentleman's combat, person's combat.
Thank you.
Super awesome combat.
Then why are you here, Avar?
All I know is that we have a greater interest in metal weapon combat lately. I had 10 longsword people last night, or I'm sorry, Thursday night.
That's awesome.
For what group? Just out of curiosity.
Ringwalad.
So I can move closer there? That would be awesome. Because we got nothing in Eldon.
Come to Bjornsburg, it's better.
Yeah, it's longsword.
Well, technically, I'm in Bastrop.
Or you can come up to Namron Wiesenvor.
Yeah.
Except I work on the middle of the week, so that sucks.
Travel north? Who does that?
I'm just saying we're closer, but yeah, we might have to set up something for the weekends.
Oh, Fakan, Johnny come lately. What do you got, Fakan?
I actually gonna set up an Eldern kind of weekends combat thing. If people can make it cool, if they can't make it cool. I'm just trying to draw interest. We have some armored combatants that want to do CNT. We don't have any Rapier per se besides myself. So I'm just trying to set up something like a little mock tournament or practice if Folks want to come, cool. They don't, cool.
I think like anything else in the SCA, the secret sauce is loaner gear. And if if you have the loaner gear for fill in the blank, and people are doing fill in the blank, then your newcomers are going to do fill in the blank. It's just a reality, and so I don't think you have a lot of groups that have multiple longswords in their loaner kit. And I think if you did, you would have a lot more people doing longswords. Still wouldn't be me. I have found no joy in it yet, but I know a lot of people that would do it if they just had the loaner gear for it.
Well, we have loaner gear at not longswords by any means. We've got an arming sword. We've got a couple of rapiers. We've got back of the head protection on one mask. It's just a simple thing. I get what you're saying. It's, newcomers and want to do if there's gear to try it out with. So
Okay.
we're trying to build on that.
Let me cycle here though, because we're getting close, and I know Fakan had his hand up for a while. Fakan?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, this was probably answered this morning, but due to circumstances, I missed the youth meeting. I just want to make sure I read something in the new rules correctly. Did it say that youth can now start cut and thrust at 14?
By society rules, they can, but Ansteorra hasn't. So I'm not sure where Jacques going to go with that. And just, I don't know if they brought this.
Hey, that's awesome. I had not heard that. I think that's something I would be leaning favorably to. I want to look at it and give it, due consideration. But that's something people have asked me before, and it's been a whole like can we just even do training? It's not even sparring. That has been a no previously, at least under the rules as I'm interpreting them. So yeah, let's talk about that. We're not now, but yeah, we have a few different rules clarifications that we're trying to iron out. So make some progress on that pretty quick.
I'd love to talk to you about that, Jacques, if you want to reach out to me.
No, that'll be awesome. Look forward to it.
All right, thanks.
Excellent. And I want to point, I don't know if Jacques may have brought this up already, but something we talked about earlier before, because I've got 1 minute, but Ansteorra does have youth rapier rules. So a lot of people were worried that because the youth rapier at society level just says do what the adults do in a lot of cases. Ansteorra for a while now, since I was Youth Kingdom Rapier Marshal, has had a set of rules that define a lot of those gray areas already. So these new rule changes shouldn't affect them too badly.
Yeah, that's
okay.
kind of what we talked about. That's some of what we're going to clarify. So yeah, it was very much a topic earlier.
Yeah, so they're mostly just on the website, and I'm not going to talk about that. We'll talk about that offline, but I would love to see those get codified into this new thing that's coming out for Kingdom. So, hey guys, I've got to call it because we are now at 2. Thank you all very much once again. Thank you, Darian, for the great job. Once I get access to all of the electronic stuff, I'll know more. Send out your requests for the rules committee and those deputy positions that I talked about. I'm going to republish that out in the official channels after this. And love you guys. Excited to do this for our community. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for running this, Orlando, and thanks everybody for showing up.